Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've said this before, and we're going to say it again. Dragon Age the Veilguard is not looking good. Things are not looking to be in the favor of this game as it gets closer and closer to release. Obviously, you guys are aware, but some of you might not be. The game is going to release on October 31st, Halloween of this year. Now, that's actually pretty damn hilarious when you consider that people are pretending to be things that they're not. But ultimately, Dragon Age the Veilguard can't even get into the top 50 bestsellers, and it's still about 2 weeks away from release, and that is very daunting considering that all the games prior that actually did well so far have been in the top sell, at least the top 5 sell for a long time, even well before they were about to release. But this game, 2 weeks up until release, can't even get in the top 50.
That was really bad.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty telling numbers, and also the amount of followers that this game has is pretty telling as well. This game only has about 60-something thousand followers on Steam, and anytime you have something like that, you don't really get crazy amount of concurrent players. You usually end up somewhere in the 15 to 30,000 range, give or take, in concurrent playership. It's not going to look good for Dragon Age the Veilguard, and I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of reasons for this. So let's get into the article, guys, from that part place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says Dragon Age the Veilguard still outside of Steam's top 50 bestsellers with just over 2 weeks until release. Gee, I wonder why. You know what I mean? When you offer androgynous characters with no option to make anything else other than an androgynous trans character, when you offer a story that is not going to be a continuation of what people have done in the last 3 games, when you say world states don't matter, when you suddenly start to push ideologies that weren't in the original games and then try to pass it off as it was always there. You know what I mean? It's the most dumbest thing, and yet here we are still experiencing it in modern day because these people are retarded. I really don't know what else to say other than that. BioWare's look what they did to the Qunari, bro. I can never get over what they did to the Qunari, man. This is the biggest travesty I have ever seen in gaming in a long time. BioWare's upcoming Dragon Age the Veilguard still remains outside Steam's top 50 bestsellers as the game releases in just over 2 weeks. SteamDB reports that Dragon Age the Veilguard has moved up the charts, but not significantly. The game currently sits in the 57th position in Steam top sellers and is just inside the top 30 on the most wishlisted upcoming Steam games in 28th position. A little less than a month ago, the game was just 38th on Steam's DB's most wishlisted upcoming Steam games and 80th in the top sellers. That was on September 20th. Of note, many of the games that were ahead of it on the most wishlisted upcoming Steam games list have indeed come out, such as Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which, by the way, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, killing it. I think it hit like 125 some odd thousand concurrent players. Absolutely insane. Very well done. Metaphor Refantasio also killing it. I think like 70 something thousand concurrent players. Well done. Throne in Liberty, God of War Ragnarok, The Forever Winter, and Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2, unfortunately, could have sold a lot more copies if they didn't advertise their game so divisively, right? And unfortunately, people don't like the direction that they've taken with some of the characters, and ultimately, they are suffering for it. You know, some people are going to be like, well, it still had 22,000 concurrent players. That's not enough. That's not enough for a game that costs as much money as Silent Hill 2 Remake, unfortunately. Even with the console sales, but the console sales are not even that great either, because it's on number 7 on the PS Store, and number 7 on the PS Store, you might as well be dead. Just so you know, Concord, when it came out, was number 6 on the PlayStation Store. So imagine being number 7 on the store. Yeah, that's not a good look. So the game's movement from 38th to 28th is likely because the games have come out that were above it rather than it actually receiving significantly more wish lists. In fact, as noted above, the game only saw an increase of just 1,887 more followers in the last 7 days. It has only seen an increase of just 6,149 followers since September 20th. Now, again, guys, like I told you, the amount of followers that are following this game is a good indication of how successful the game is going to be. If you have 60 some odd thousand followers, your game is not going to be that successful. They need a lot of money for Dragon Age the Veilguard. Do not get it twisted. This game was in development hell for a long, long time. This game has gone through multiple different iterations of existing, which means that it's very similar to Skull and Bones, where it's been started and then killed, and then started and then killed, restarted, killed. You know what I mean? Like, it's been going over and over for a long time now. They have spent a lot of money on Dragon Age the Veilguard, and even though we don't have any official numbers, I would bet we're definitely well above the $200 million mark very easily, maybe even getting to the $300 million mark, considering the amount of years that went into developing this game and the amount of times that they had to restart it. It says not only does it appear to be tracking well, but a couple of the aforementioned games that were ahead of it are finding fantastic success on Steam and will clearly compete with it, even though they might not be in the same genre. Metaphor ReFantazio hit an all-time peak of 85,961 concurrent players just a couple of days after its release. Now, to be honest, I think the main reason why Metaphor ReFantazio is hitting more players as time goes on is because word of mouth is carrying this game, right? People are actually enjoying it, people are excited about it, and word of mouth is going to carry it through probably even to 90,000 concurrent. If they could get enough people to buy it at the same time and play it, I think they could get this number up there. Atlas also announced that the game has sold over 1 million copies in just its first day as well. It revealed it was the fastest selling Atlas title. To put that in context, Atlas developed Persona 5, which was also pretty successful. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero hit a peak concurrent of 122,554 on its official release date after hitting over 91,000 while it was just in early access. Furthermore, previous rumors from retail sources indicate the pre-orders for the game are paltry. YouTuber Dr. Disaster reported that his retail insider informed him that the pre-order sales were piss poor. Now, again, guys, so when it comes to retail sales, I say this all the time, they don't really matter too much, right, in terms of pre-orders for retail physical copies, because most games are sold digitally. It's not that you're going to completely ignore it, right, because it all matters to some extent. You know, a number is a number, a sale is a sale. But in terms of the overall grand scheme of whether or not a game's going to be successful, I'm not going to judge it based off of its physical pre-orders. I'm going to judge it based off where it's at on the digital storefront. And looking at the Steam numbers, you can clearly see Dragon Age the Veilguard is not doing well even on the digital storefront. And everything correlates. So if it's not even in the top 50 on Steam, that means, yes, the physical sales are going to be even worse. Guaranteed. People are not going to be buying this physically just because they're not even buying it digitally. It all correlates together. Now, again, I'll finish it off with this. Dragon Age the Veilguard has decided to go in a completely different direction. Supposedly on the last game, by the way, I have never seen a company release the last part of a known franchise and completely change it all up at the last second and tell you, well, you know, it's okay, none of it mattered anyway. It's so insane. If this is really the last Dragon Age game, why are you choosing to change it up so much? And then why are you choosing to make the world states not a thing when people spent the last 3 games making world states only for you to say on the last game, you know what? That really doesn't matter. We'll make the decision for you. Don't worry. It's so ridiculous, man. And honestly, it's going to be one of the biggest reasons why this game fails. Aside from the controversy, aside from the wokeness, this game will absolutely fail in comparison of its older games simply because you can't even carry over your story. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, let me know your thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.